Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media. Today is a Thursday, as always. We always have our leaders, especially the young leaders who are making difference in our lives in very particular way that we cannot say. So today, I'm very happy to be hosting one of my best friends, and I will give him chance to say a word of hi to our viewers who are watching and those will be watching after the show. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, Brother Benson, and even for the opportunity to interact with the viewers. Hi, everyone, all viewers from whichever part of the country or the continent or the world that you may be watching us from, because we understand that this is a global interview. So I and thank you so much for following us. We will follow the topic that we're going to talk about. Very happy to be here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, brother, for also accepting our invite. It's usually a pleasure to have youthful leaders on our platform, and we know in the near future our country will be betterly placed with leaders like you. So before we go into the main discussion of today, it's about fostering youth leadership in our society. Maybe I just want to ask you your view on the state of the nation and its people. What is your view?
Thank you, sir. If I may introduce myself, for those who may not know who you are hosting today, I hope I'm allowed to do so.
Yes, you are, sir.
My name is Justus, Ambassador Justus Ronald Mukaya from Kenya. I'm born and raised in a county called Nyamira County in the western part of the country of Kenya. I am founder and the director for an organization called Ezesha Plus Kenya, which does a lot of community empowerment, especially majoring in youth and skills transfer. Uh, Finding out the youth that are vulnerable, we train them and link them to opportunities. I also work for the World Youth Summit, a global organization, as the country director for Kenya. I am a peace ambassador. That is why you see that ambassador there. I've never been an ambassador of any country, but I'm a global peace ambassador that was nominated and appointed by the Universal Peace Federation. I'm
Mhm.
a political leader. I also work for a political party. I don't like so much mentioning about politics. But again, I'm also a political and an educational analyst, featuring and appearing in most of our big media houses in this country. So I'm happy to be here this evening
Mhm.
as a youthful leader. And thank you, Brother Benson, for identifying the youth, because they used to say youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but we have come to learn that we are today's leaders. So just to get back to your question, you had asked about the status of our country.
State of the nation as we speak right now and its people.
As we speak, what I can say is that we are living in Kenya, a country where there is, of course, new leadership of His Excellency Dr. Ruto, of course, who is 1 year and some months old in office. So changes that is bringing, of course, some of them are, people usually fear the unknown. So it's something that has not been welcomed so much, especially on matters taxation and the rest. We are a country that had gotten used to subsidies, which have not so far been taken away. We are a country that did not used to give government tithe. We only used to give tithe to church. The new president has brought a lot of typing in terms of taxes, and the people are resisting. We have confusion. I can say we are in a state of confusion in this country where people have not yet accepted the new policies that have been put in place, and we see the government insisting that they must be there. So we are in a state of confusion. People are picking with the new administration, but not yet. So we are confused, but we are pushing on. And the economy, the state, the dollar is very high, and the rest. But we are pushing. I can generally conclude that we are in a state of confusion as a country, but we are doing better. And I believe it's a question of time people will get used to the new policies, taxation, and the rest.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for that elaboration. And now we want to come to the issue of fostering youth leadership in our society. As you mentioned earlier, or as we know, that the youth actually comprises of the majority of the population in Kenya. But when you look at the youths, do you see we have that kind of leadership that we want, especially in the youths?
Thank you, Brother Benson. As far as youth are concerned, my observation is that initially the Kenyan youth have not been involved in major decision making in this country, be it in appointments, be it in whichever kind of forums. Kenyan youth have not been elected initially, but currently there is a fairness. There's a change, I can say, because now you look at the new administration, they have fairly tried to appoint youths into senior positions. Actually, if you came today to Kenya, very serious positions like the principal secretary for Ministry of Internal Security and the rest have been given to the youth. But we are not yet there because we are still in that era whereby the youth are there to be heard. And, we live in a country where a 40, 80, 70-year-old person can easily be appointed to be the even minister for youth. Of course, now with the new management, that is the new president, some things have changed, but we are not yet there. The voice of the youth have not been heard. And we don't entirely blame these governments. The Kenyan youths are a lazy youth, a good number of them. There are youths that have been used to shortcuts. There are youths who don't want to take risks. There are youths who don't want to venture into new things. And for that reason, as a youth, we blame ourselves before we blame any other person. So we are not yet there, but we are doing fair compared to the initial or previous administrations. We are slowly coming up. That is all I can say, sir.
So, also, which ways can we use so that we can foster their leadership in the society?
I think as a society, and the society here includes the general public, including the electorate, not only the government.
Yes.
If we begin from the government side, when we talk of youth, people just look at the government. This is a all dimensions approach because we live in a community, Brother Ben, where today I don't know your marital status, but if you came to this country and you want to fight for a position, the first thing you are asked is, who is your wife? We have not seen your wife because you are not going to rule people when you don't have a family. So we are living in a place whereby we need first to change our thinking and what we believe in and give youth chance. Let us give youth chance in terms of electing them, propose them to serious positions, community positions. Then, of course, from the government side, much has not been done. We are advocating. Kenyan youth comprise more than 60% of the population. So most of the youths actually are jobless. They do not, opportunities that come up end up in the hands of the whole people, the elite that have been existing. So as a government, we have much to do in terms of appointments. Because literally, if you look at, for example, the cabinet that the president just named, parastatals, you go to head of many organizations that the president appoints, you realize that, of course, His Excellency Honorable Ruto has really tried to include youth, but we are not yet there because given the percentage of youth in this country, the government need to do much in terms of appointing youths. I'm a youth here, and you can see nobody has recognized what I do, apart from Benson, all the way from New York. And we are around. I want you to tune to our media. Actually, once we finish this, you're going to see very old men there talking about youth affairs. And we are only used when it comes to demonstrations. That's where they have praised our youth. And Brother Benson, for the Christians, those who go to church, those who believe in the Christian faith, they know that even the Bible says that during end times, the whole will see dreams, while the youth will see visions. So it's high time that we give these young people who are having visions, guide those with the dreams. We cannot have a state where the dream-minded people, those ones are seeing dreams, want to guide those that are seeing visions. So we have not done much, be it from the community in giving youth chance, We have not embraced the youth, right? Even from families,
Yeah.
even from our own families, we come from a place where you are told wewe ni mtoto, you should not speak before people. Wewe simama watu wakubwa waketi. And you see, a place where people believe that you should talk to the old people, wisdom comes from old people. They forget that we can also be wise. Brother Benson, today you can give wisdom to, not even old person is wise. Even fools grow old. You see? So we
Yeah.
have not embraced the youth. Let us embrace the youth from the government, from the society, from all around in institutions, appointments and the rest. And also the Kenyan youth are also lazy. Let us know that nobody is going to fight for us. We should fight
Yes.
for ourselves. Let us uh, present ourselves as people that are capable of doing things.
Mhm.
That is what I would tell you. Let us not leave shortcuts. Let us give chance. I was recently in a meeting that was attended by the majority whip from the parliament, Honorable Solo. And the one thing I saw him telling us is that when tenders are advertised, when opportunities are advertised, the youth don't go for those tenders. The youth don't go to try those and apply. And they keep saying, oh, the economy is bad. The youth have not been ticketed. Let us go forward. Let us move forward as the youth. Let us present ourselves there. Let us try opportunities. And whenever we try also, let the community be friendly and receptive to the youth.
Okay, I understand you. And at the same time, I just want to ask you about the youth themselves. Do they really understand their capability? And the reason why I'm saying this is because look at even during the election, when people are going for election or during the campaigns, the youths are the people, are the majority that organizes these rallies, and they will always come to these rallies. The youths, the people, the majority that always will do the posters. The youth are the people who will go online and do all kind of like campaigns, and they're being cherished during that moment. But immediately the government of the day takes place, or the opposition of the day takes place, when it comes to decision making now, immediately after everything, yeah, youths are not being seen. And this one was witnessed during the NADCO report meeting, when the committee was selected and they came and discussed about the issues. There was no youth who was there. Um, do we really know what we want, or we are being remote controlled?
Thank you, sir. There are, especially when it comes to the entire electioneering process and election process, we have Kenyan youth that participate in these major processes. The youth are the ones that participate in doing posters. They participate in campaigning and, of course, putting those posters and the rest on the walls and all that at night. The youth are the ones that take politicians to rallies. They're the ones who sing and dance to the politicians. But at some point, they skip voting. They usually don't vote. They wait for what the old people have voted. Then immediately they come in to do demonstrations and the rest. That is how we are used in this country. And we ourselves have underrated our ability as the youth. We are a youth that is used to handouts. That whenever a politician or a leader comes around, gets you 500 shillings, 200 shillings, and whenever somebody Benson buys you, then that person does not value you anymore. Because that person knows that, what are you telling me? Which decision do you want to make? And yet I bought you. Then our youth, the generation that we are in, those youths who are more rowdy, I can say in darkness. And whenever there is light, anything that is discussed during the day, they do not want part of it. We did not see them present any views in taxes, in housing, and the rest. But once the whole will decide that this thing is wrong, it is the youth that will go to the street to demonstrate. So I want to say that as a youth in this country, we have not yet appreciated our position in society. We have not yet appreciated our ability. We have not realized how capable we are as a youth. And we have not ourselves, let us not cry so much. We have not been given opportunities, even an opportunity to present your views as a youth and say, no, we support this initiative of housing because we are being employed as youth, or we oppose because of ABC. We don't go ahead. we don't present ourselves to that kind of forums. We only want to go. I can say that we don't present ourselves to anything orderly. Most of the times, we wait for what is disorderly. We are given 2 points. We rush to the streets. So we blame entirely the Kenyan youth that are not embracing the new technology, youth that are not embracing opportunities, youth that are not embracing even in trainings, vocational technical courses that can help them easily employ themselves. People, Benson, we live in a country where everybody want to work at the airports, everybody want to work at the big hotels, and no youth want to do these manual trainings, technical training. So the youth of this country need a lot of mentorship for them to understand their position in society, their ability, participation, decision making. We are far from what we should be doing as a youth of this country. And of course, that is why the old people have taken advantage of us.
Okay. And I don't know, because this is something that we've always been observing in our political landscape, especially for the young leaders that we usually see on the forefront who want to become leaders to get this post. There's this issue where the young leaders, especially, they will insult either His Excellency the President, William Ruto, or the Right Honorable Prime Minister in they say words that to me it doesn't sound very respectful. And as a youth who wants to be a leader, we are looking for you. Like immediately they exit power, you're the people who are going to be in the leadership. How then do we make good leadership if the younger ones who are coming in, it's all about insult? Even if the president does not make good decision or bring good policies, instead of criticizing him in a very good way, but you insult him or insult the right Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. How is that one working with the youth, and what kind of leadership is that one offering to us?
Brother Benson, character begins from family level. Mm-hmm. You see, the issue of youth and the behavior and the character should be looked at from as far as from their families, where they come from. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges we have of late is that a good number of these youth come from dysfunctional families. This is a single mother family. The others do not even have, actually, they live by themselves. I myself participate in learning a school here in Nairobi, where you will literally see a student join Form 1. They come to seek, initially, Benson, when you are joining high school, your parents went, sought for your admission, took you to school. They could come during visiting days. But currently, in Nairobi here, what I've seen, a small girl would come to seek for permission to join Form 1 with her research slip at hand. No parent. She'll come to negotiate a fee. Oh, my mother said this. We are living in an era where parents are no more concerned about what their children do. That is how, Benson, if you are not born to abuse, even if you are paid to abuse, you may not abuse an elder within society. Mm-hmm. But because of how we've been brought up, so even if you say we need to do mentorship from churches, mentorship from families, but this should begin from ourselves, from where we originate from. So who do you live with? What are the values that are being converted in you? Where do you go to church? So who is your role model? Benson, if you are the role model of your entire extended family, and then you see everyone looks upon you, and so you not have role models in society. And I could say that things such as what you have mentioned, leaders, youths abusing leaders, these are characters, these are traits that they have also borrowed from the whole people within society, where a leader just abuses another leader. And so the youth think it's the only thing to do. But then you see, as I've said, we need to trace this thing right from the families. That these youth should be brought up from the learning institutions in a way that they appreciate the value to and the reason as to why they should respect elders in society, not only leaders. Today you see a small youth stand somewhere, not even standing, even on social media, abuse a whole head of state, in very vulgar language that we may not say in public here. Yes. So we must realize where the range started beating us. And I am a strong believer that this traces back to the families where these people come from, to the learning institutions, to the worship institutions, and to the leaders themselves. Because if leaders abuse the others in public, then these young people also see that the right thing, that when you abuse someone, you are a hero. So it's a whole combination of factors within society that we must look at for us to change the character and the behavior of our young people, because they believe by so doing they're doing the right thing. Benson, today, if someone calls you ng'ombe, a cow, then you see you have to take a lot of time to tell this person. You begin from the differences between animals and the human beings. That this person umwambie, no, cows have 4 legs, I have 2 legs, and the rest, because this is someone ambaye amepotea kutoka kitambo. That is what I can say. So it's our own community approach, family, institutions of learning, leadership in the society, what the elders do, worship institutions, and the rest. It's not a one-man thing for us to sort out that issue.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me also ask you about this, what we call regionalism. And regionalism has really played a bigger role, especially in our society or in our country as Kenya, whereby when we are making decision, even in politics, there are make decision based on the region where I'm coming from. For instance, if I am to vote, especially a particular candidate, one of the things that I will ask first, where does he come from, or which tribe is he from? But it becomes the tribe first, but not the quality or the quality of a leader that I'm. How can we run away from that, so that if somebody is vying for presidency, I will not look at his tribe, but I look at the content he's bringing on board, or the vision that is bringing on board?
Brother Benson, it's going to take a while before we reach that step, especially in this country, because tribalism is not really bad, but now that negative ethnicity is what is bad. But you see, then we were born in a society where even you grew up knowing that wewe ni Mjaluo.
Yes.
But it is something that should not happen literally in modern societies. Unlike places like Tanzania where Mwalimu Nyerere brought that in look. Now, I think it's not going to be very easy, but I'm happy that currently when you interact with young people, especially these young children in schools here in Nairobi, most of them don't understand what tribe is. You ask them, are you a Mukisi? Are you Kikuyu? They wonder what you are asking them. So it's going to take a while before we get out of there. But then as at now, I think it is a precedent that has been set that we have found ourselves in, that, oh, let me vote this my person from my area. In this country, nobody looks at what you stand for. What you stand for is best known to you. They look at where you come from. Actually, some of the people that are voted in this country, when you do a very bad thing, today if you stole something very big, and next time you just go for election to be voted in because you'll be voted in. That our person who was humiliated, that our person who was done ABCD, we stand with him by voting him in. So it's something that is going to take a while before we get rid out of it. But one thing I can say, with the most current generation, the young people, the CBC generation, it is slowly fading away. This is where I'm encouraging young people who live in these cities, young people in urban centers, to even intermarry. Look at myself, for example. I've come all along from Kisii to Nairobi. Why should I come looking for a Kisii to marry in this capital? Let me get someone from some other part of the country so that we can do away and eradicate this thing of tribalism. Benson, you cannot come from Kisumu to Nairobi. You come to study, stay here for a whole 5-6 years. You go back to marry a lady from your neighborhood. You see, it's a challenge I'm giving to our young people. Let us do intermarriages. And I can see also the deployment of people, in work areas. If you are a teacher, let you not work at your own area. You are a civil servant, you are sent somewhere else so that we can try to reduce this thing of the labels. But it's going to take a while before we get rid of it. And the young people are going to play a bigger role in doing this. Today, you are a Kikuyu. and you say Luos are not your friends, and your mother believes Kikuyu do not be friends with the Luos, go home with the Kikuyu lady that you have married and you have to go around my daughter. That is one way we can do away with this kind of an analogy. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thank you very much. There's an integrity test. When you look at the integrity of our country, this is an area where by we've not done well um, in terms of even electing our leaders. And you find if you have like a case or you've been accused of committing a crime and you're still a suspect, yeah, you're not still proven guilty. And it becomes as a yardstick, or it becomes like a marketing kind of like product. That is what you're going to use to come to power, you know. And when you come, like now you come to do those campaigns, the first thing that you will use, especially for the young people, talking to them is like, for instance, walisema sisi ni wezi, yeah, na tunataka kuambia kwamba uh, tunaweza hata kama walituita hivyo. Like it becomes like a marketing strategy. So how can the youths kind of like be very sensitive and listen to the messages that can give us good leadership rather than coming to the negative part of it? Like we listen to the negative part of it. We don't
I think,
entertain
sir,
negativity.
thank you. I think, sir, in our country, and if it's our country anyway, we don't have any other place to call home.
Sure.
The more you do something funny, the more you become popular. And it is that popularity that is going to propel you to power. You see, today, and unfortunately now, those people that have been involved in graft and such kind of accusations, they're the ones with the resources. And in this country, it is how much you have that determines what you're going to get in terms of power. So, to solve this issue, one of the things that we should do as a community, as a country, is to ensure that our youth are engaged. Because today, if a youth had something that is earning them an income, then they may run away from the handouts. And when you avoid the handouts, it means you can easily vote based on what someone has told you, what their position is, sera yao ni gani. But as long as you are angry Benson, we have Benson here and the Justice. Benson has got very good sera that is selling to people. But ujakula kitu, you are hungry, and the Justice has money and anataka kukupatia. Will you go for sera or you go for your stomach? So if our youth were to be engaged and have something that is earning them a living, that they can be independent in terms of financial independence, then they can easily start reason. But as things stand, an empty stomach cannot even listen to what we are talking about in terms of policies. Nobody knows even what the manifesto for UDA was. Nobody knows what the manifesto for Raila was. That is for Azimio. What do they know? What is Raila saying? What is His Excellency Ruto saying? That is all about Ruto and Raila and the manifestos. Because they look at you as a leader, what do you have to offer them? That is solving the immediate concern, which is njaa. So it's not going to be very easy. Chapter 6 of our constitution will still remain a story in the papers as long as we are doing this. I've seen the head of state appointing religious leaders to head, for example, organizations such as EACC. But we have much to do. We have much to do. And I used to think that when religious leaders have been appointed to stand against the graft, then they're going to do that. There's a difference between spirituality and what we believe in as a people. So we have a lot to do as a community. And this goes back to ensuring that our youth are engaged in terms of economic activities, in terms of what earns them a living. Otherwise, an angry youth is a youth that consumes anything as far as it is helping them. They're not interested in terms of what you stand for. What you stand for will come later. That is what I can say. If we empower our youths, if our youths are given small jobs, small training so that they can depend on themselves, small loans here, they start startups and do their own businesses, there will come a time even a presidential candidate calls for, Benson, did you know that in this country, these politicians campaign on Mondays and Tuesdays, and the Uhuru Park is full of people, which means these are idlers, they don't go to work. So if they were engaged somewhere, then we can start talking about policies. But as at now, as long as they are idlers, as long as they have nothing to do, policies will remain a story.
Okay, you've talked about policies, you've talked about manifesto, and it's quite interesting to look at when you look at manifestos, especially that we do have, for instance, for UDA and I mean Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, they were more or less similar because, for instance, when you come to the housing, uh, both Azimio and UDA had it. You come to the healthcare, both of them have it, had them. But now, what I want to ask you is about the the do we should I call it what we stand for as a particular party? Do you see us as a country we have what we stand for, or we just stand for a particular period of time? Like when I see Azimio, I distinguish it from UDA because this is what they stand for. When I see Kenya Kwanza, also I distinguish it from Azimio. Do we have that?
I think, okay, Sir Benson,
Yeah.
in Kenya,
Mm,
you stand for what you stand for, depending on who is bringing it.
mm,
It is not about what you stand for. Both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have housing as in their manifestos.
mhm,
They have healthcare, Baba care in their manifestos. But this manifesto, this housing is only bad to Raila supporters when it is being implemented by Ruto. And it is bad to Ruto supporters when it is being implemented by Raila. So we have nothing that we stand for. We stand for what is available and who is bringing it on board. Let nobody cheat you. What we stand for it depends on who is bringing it. That is it. There is no difference between that manifesto of Azimio and that of. Actually, if Raila Odinga was to win today, one of the things he had promised was to offer affordable housing. But
mm,
then you see, because it's coming from the other side,
mm,
it becomes illegal, and now he's torturing Kenyans. But if it was coming from him, then he
mhm,
could be supported so much. Everybody will be standing, including yourself and myself, could be standing for it. But today, because it's coming from His Excellency Ruto's side, then it is bad. So I could
mm,
say, unlike where you're interviewing me from in New York,
mm,
where we have Republicans who stand for some specific. I'm telling
mm.
you, Benson, that thing is a myth. It is never going to happen here until perhaps Christ comes back. We stand for what is available depending on who is the carrier of that idea. That is what we stand for. Otherwise, we don't have what we stand for.
Actually, I'm reminded that there was a time I was seeing one of member of parliament was talking about the red state and the blue state. That it is high time that we should have like the red state and the blue state. But something that he did not tell the people that in red state they're not only red state, they are also those who are Democrat there. But the difference is the population of Democrats are higher in blue state than the Republican. But when you go there, both of them have democratic space to express themselves. As compared to our country, even if we want to go regionalism, whereby we feel okay, Ford Kenya is in Bungoma, it controls Bungoma, but the majority of people will be for Ford Kenya. But still, there's a democratic space for other parties also to practice, and that is a big thing in our country, whereby if for instance you are a UDA member and you find it very difficult to to campaign in 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 ODM zones,
Strong.
strongholds, yeah, and like you cannot hold um, those rallies, which means that democratic space is not there, and is also vice versa to where UDA is strong and an UDM guy cannot campaign there. What should we do as a country such that we accept those realities?
Benson, if we decided to do red and blue states in this country, a state will be blue for 5 years or less. We'll end up having cocktail states within. And because we don't stand for anything specific. But I think as a country, it is high time
Mm,
that we look at, so what do we stand for? If you are opposing, what are you opposing and why are you opposing it?
mhm,
But you see, I don't see it happening any soon because after, in this country, apart from ODM party, which has tried to exist for some time, coalitions, parties, ideas emerge after every 5 years. So that even makes the electorate more confused. Because you realize today we have the speaker, Mheshimiwa Wetangula, in UDA.
Mhm.
But a short while ago, if you could see the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, not very long time ago, who is now a member, prime minister in our country, if you could see how he was describing bottom up using a bottle, and today is the one campaign. So we stand for nothing. You see, that is what I'm saying. In this country, we stand for nothing. We stand for our stomach. We stand for what benefits us as at that day. Because
But
then, if you believed that bottom up was wrong, then you should believe continuously that it is wrong. There's no way tomorrow it changes. We are in a place whereby someone sleeps in the evening, criticizes the head of state very much, not because they mean it, but he wanted to attract the attention of the head of state.
but,
So if the head of state calls him at night and tells him, boss, why are you criticizing my policies? I'm going to give you job. The following morning, I don't want to mention names. You see a whole old man in the street congratulating the Honorable Ruto, and it does not say what happened overnight. You see, so that is the kind of state that we have. Nobody stands for anything. People stand for their stomachs, and we are not going to realize anything closer to red and blue states in this country anytime soon. And this is because we stand for nothing. Actually, you look at 2027, you will have new coalitions. That is why
extra,
I'm telling even big Kenyans to mind their businesses. Brother Benson,
mm,
you will not be shocked in 2027 when you find, for example, the Right Honorable Prime Minister working very well with the head of state, current head of state, Dr. Ruto. And you see, if you are there claiming, oh, Ruto is bad, I'm for Baba, you are left for your own self. So I tell Kenyans that let us stand for what I could say is stand for what benefits you as at the day. The rest is a story.
actually I can share your sentiments because like if the history of your country serves as well, you know, you look at the current president and the prime minister in 2007, you know, they were best at their best, like they were their best friends, you know, and all of a sudden things change, they are on opposing sides. But now the electorate themselves, you know, we take this thing upon ourselves and create that enmity between us, you
So,
know,
so personal.
so personal. But you don't know, like these leaders sometimes they meet and talk and see how things go. So I think it is high time, like we should start embracing ourselves. Let's compete on ideology, you know, as a country. Let us compete on ideology and come out from this kind of politics whereby the politics of to conquer, and the politics to conquer is how do I want to see that the right prime minister go home in Bondo, or how do I want to see like President Ruto leave the presidency? But don't you don't give us the policies. What are you going to do for the country? You know, if people can think in that way, or what do you think?
I think, sir, as you know, there's a rumor that currently the current head of state is presenting the Honorable Odinga for the chair of African Union, and I must congratulate the president if that is anything to go by,
Yeah.
because then we don't have to create permanent enemies. When His Excellency Ruto came into power, we saw him front the Honorable Kenyatta to go and do peacekeeping aid in some country here in East Africa.
Yeah.
And I think that way, that tells us that we should differ in ideologies, but we should not create enmity. Because here you don't look at your neighbor in a plot where you stay that this person supports Baba.
Mm.
Where else His Excellency Ruto is presenting Baba to be the head of African chair, if that rumor is anything to go by. So we should learn a number of things that when competing, let us not compete on who you stand for. Let us compete in ideologies. That you could have a different ideology, the other person can have a different ideology, but you are
Mm.
friends. That tomorrow you can call your brother and tell him, Brother Benson, I know you stand for Raila,
Mm.
but there is an opportunity in UDA headquarters. Can you apply for that? That is what, and I want to, if that rumor is anything to go by,
Uh,
would wish to look for the head of state and congratulate him and do a handshake.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
because what we stand for should not make us enemies. You know, it is the Honorable Ruto that fought for the Honorable Dinga to become Prime Minister at that time.
Okay,
Today, the
yeah.
Honorable Ruto is the head of. Actually, if you look at the government that we have today, is the orange government. Pentagon government is the one that we have, only that now the Honorable Dinga is slightly outside. So if Mheshimiwa Odinga, Ruto, Mudavadi, and the rest wanted to form government that time, now they have the government. The Pentagon is in power, you see. So it's something that we should learn from that, that it should not be enmity, it should be on purely ideologies.
And another thing, maybe before we wind up, that I want to say, you see, like when people are elected, when we elect our leaders, when they take the oath of office, they become states members, you know. So all the MPs provide, if you're coming from UDA, you're coming from ODM, and what, all of you are in government. That is something that is a true fact. And that's why you
Yeah,
will
you're the
find,
arm of government called legislature.
yes, and
Yes.
that's why you'll find like a member of I think is a member of ODM is called who, Peter Kaluma, Honorable Peter Kaluma, can sometimes state in speakers up to sit for speaker when he's not there, and the legislation will go on when
Yeah.
he's sitting. So it tells you that everybody is in government. So I think, like, as young people, we should start looking at that way. Let us not be swayed by what is happening um, on the political scene.
Yeah, young people should look at what is there for them. They should not mind very much about the differences of the dealings in terms of political leaders in this country. Those leaders at some point, when their interest in politics is about interest and betrayal, nothing, these two things constant, interest and betrayal. So who betrays who? Whose interest matches with whose? So as young people, we should not really take these things very personal. You know, sometimes you pity these young people when you see someone doesn't want to say hi to another one because hey, wewe ni mtu wa baba, wewe ni mtu wa Ruto, mtu wa baba na wewe ni mtu unalala njaa. So what we want to say is kwamba let us focus on what is going to help us as youth. For example, one thing that Brother Benson,
Mhm.
it is not because I am in the government political party, but one thing I should ask our young people. For example, look at this now. The head of state for this country is the Honorable uh, Dr. Ruto. You have nothing much that you can do on the same. It's
Mhm.
high time we accepted that Dr. Ruto is the head of state, so that now we look at, so that now that Ruto is in power, what is there for us? Which opportunities have been provided for us? How can we gain from the Ruto government? 2027, you will go back to your Baba, you will go back to your Ruto and try to support them and see who wins. Immediately after elections, whoever's won, let us see what does he ask for us? How can we benefit from this current state, the leadership of the state, the current one, that is this government that is existing? Let us not keep on, amuka, tuende maandamano. 2027, if Raila comes and wins and you are a Ruto supporter, look at what Raila has for you. You must not go protesting that, oh, Raila has won. Now, Ruto has won and is the head of state. Look at what His Excellency Ruto has for you. You know, we should not be misused. Because in each government, there is always an opportunity for the youth. In never happening, there are opportunities for the youth. Let us explore the opportunities. Let us be positive. Let us be creative. Let us go for the youth fund that goes back to the government, not being borrowed. Ukipiga mdomo, oh, taxes have gone high. When taxes go high, we should also raise our heads high and see what should we do, because taxes are not going to come down any soon. It is us that are going to adjust upwards. So let us look at the opportunities existing as a youth and see the current government, whether you supported it or not, how are you going to benefit from it? That is what I can tell our young people whenever they may be this evening and morning.
Okay, so sawa. Maybe before we wind up, maybe might be my last question. Since you're coming from Kisii, we've seen the deputy governor. I mean, they're in the process of impeaching him. What is your take from somebody coming from Kisii?
I come from a place, You've seen governor going to offer bursaries, bullets. Governor doing this. You see, all these things are not going to help anyone.
Yes.
Ile yenye unaona Kisii County, let me speak in Kiswahili if you may understand, ni
Mm,
utoto.
mm,
Na ni utoto that is not going to benefit, that is childishness that is not going to benefit the electorate. We did not elect these people for show off. We
mm,
elected leaders to serve us, and these leaders should know that it's the right of the electorate to be served. We are not interested in their shenanigans. We are not interested in their power play. All this is actually nonsense and things that are not going to help the electorate. These people were elected to serve the public. Can they serve the public? Wait for 2027 and do their things. Deputy governor was brought in by the governor, you see. So we don't have to, these are just things that we should not even speak on national platforms like these ones. People of Kisii County, people of
mhm,
Nyamira County expect service. These show-offs and just thumping from leaders is not going to be beneficial to us in any way. So if I see those leaders today, I look them right into the eye and tell them to put away the nonsense and serve the people that elected them. Those mamas need bursaries, so they need roads, they need markets, and the rest
mm.
they can keep the nonsense to themselves.
Yeah, it's quite worrying that if you have a different opinion, maybe in a political field or maybe where you serve, like the only thing they can do for you is maybe to impeach you, not to listen to you, because like you have to listen. Why are you having divided opinion, or why are you not agreeing with me on my policies? So these are the things that I'm not agreeing. But like, don't just go ahead and say that we are going to impeach you. How is impeachment going to solve the issues?
And
How is the
Brother Ben, you see, one thing that amazes me,
yeah,
you find one leader talking about natakia watu mazuri, he wants good for the people. The other one talks, I want good for the people. The people are the same. If
yeah,
indeed you want good for these people, I also want good for the same people. Then we can come together and see where are we differing. What are your ideas that we can combine with mine so that we do even extra in terms of if indeed our aim is to serve the public. But you know, it is not now the aim. The aim
mm,
is to just come, immediately you come into power, you want to look at how can you get your boss out. And when your boss realizes he goes to get you out before you get him out. All these things don't help us in any way. So kindly lead us. May we serve the people that elected us. Let us keep this drama for 2027. Let us serve
mm,
the people for now. We should not talk about impeachments. The process of even electing and doing voting is very expensive, and
expensive.
we should not be talking about that. Taxes have gone high. We don't blame the president. He has said he wants to make better life for us, but in a harder way. Let us support. Let us do things that are going to help us. But for the nonsense from leaders, we
Mhm.
can assure them that we are not ready for the same. Kenyans have now become of age.
Yeah.
Tumechoka na Wakenya wamejua nini wanafaa kufanya. They can call a meeting at night at the governor's residence. They impeach you, they want to impeach. Silently, we are not interested. They replace you, they want to replace. For us, we want service. We are not
Mm,
interested in what they are doing. And I'm
mm,
speaking on behalf of the majority of the
mm.
people from where I come from, who are not interested in the drama, but interested in the services that they voted these people to go and offer. That is what I should tell these leaders, and they should listen to me. And I guess one or two people might be watching this. They are not interested in the drama. We want them to do what we sent them to do for us.
Okay. Okay, my brother. Once again, let me take this opportunity to thank you so much for creating your time to be with us on your busy schedule, and I appreciate you and I thank you so much. Maybe your last remark to our viewers.
I want to thank you so much, Brother Ben. You know, a good number of Kenyans, especially the youth, when they go abroad, hardly can someone think of doing something back for the society. Mostly they go and they want to come and show off. Tumetoka Maju. I want to thank you because you have thought of your home country and you thought this is a very big way of giving back to society. Today, many people are watching me. Many people are watching our conversation. They know that there's an ambassador Mukaya in Nairobi who may
Mhm.
come for some speech tomorrow. You have given me a platform. I want to thank you. I also want to tell Kenyans to work hard as you. You can see you have employed yourself. You do not have to go to CNN. You
Yeah.
see, so I want to tell the Kenyan youth to work as hard as you. Let us be patriotic. Let us love our country. It is the love for your country that has made you to come back to Kenya and look for young leaders like myself and others. Let us love our country. Let us love one another. Let leaders love one another. Let the youth not be misled by the leaders. Let us love our country and all will be well. All is not lost. Kenya is not really lost. We are headed to the right direction. Let us embrace love. Let us embrace tolerance, forgiveness, and all those factors, and it shall be well. That is all I can say, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to you coming back to me next time. Thank you so much.
Yes, I will. And if you're new here, especially, please just support the channel by being a member. Just subscribe to the channel. It's for free. And I will keep on bringing young leaders here from all walks, from all country. I'm trying to look for them, very young leaders, and we want to see what do they have for our country, because like they're the leaders that will be taking platform immediately after our elders, we call our brothers who are here, our uncles and our grandfathers. Yeah, when they exit the political scene, the young leaders are going to be there, and they're the people who are going to decide what the future of our country is. So, and another thing that I usually say, sometimes we might criticize you as a leader. It doesn't mean that we hate you. No. The same way you love your country is the same way I love my country. So, and we can criticize one another. At the end of the day, let's support our country, because there's no any other country like Kenya, and there's no any other, I tell you, no any other country like Kenya. And may God bless you, and may God bless Kenya. Thank you so much, my brother, for also always supporting me.
We thank you, sir, and we wish you well in your endeavors. We
Thank
will
you so
support
much.
you. We will
Thank you
support
so
you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.